I'd like to apologize on my deafness here. I forgot to bring the multiBC listening TeamSpeak in here. So what I've said in the past half hour has been totally a waste of breath. Suppose I could have just kept on going like that. And thanks to Cinematic for pointing that out. I love being solo. Here we are watching the battle for second place between Gasunas, Riegler, Terzic, Kittel, Gasunas in the white and red. Sonic Realms car just ahead of this. You see, oh, and we have a bit of a kerfuffle further back. Even in. Oh yeah, even in. Even having an incident with Chris Ford of some sort. Not much damage, so he will be able to carry on for now. Looked like a bit of an issue with Terzic and Gasunas, perhaps, through the split one area. Heard some scraping and some falling back. Ooh, there's a bit of a touch there through the final significant corner. 3 wide into the underpass. That is it going to work? Terzic, Gasunas having a bit of contact. Terzic nowhere to go. Has to tap the back. Gasunas to wait while waiting. Now we're side by side. No, not very much side by side. So Terzic, and apparently Terzic was slow there. I was working on something else. Terzic had slowed to let Simon pass. Ooh, a bit of an argy-bargy. Contact! No! Gasunas! Gasunas at angle sideways. Gasunas is backwards into the Armco. Angle carries on. And Gasunas with some rear right damage. Chris Ford also in the wars at turn 1. So not, yeah, it happened so quick. Yeah, as soon as I think most likely, this is of course me only having seen it live and no replay or anything. I'm gonna guess that he was trying to get around, when he was trying to get around Terzic, he had to back off to avoid the wall, and Dami just had nowhere else to go. So as soon as into the pit lane for repairs. Now, Terzic did let Simon through. Chris Ford makes it stop. this right ahead of even who's been dropped, kicked all the way back to 16th. Marcin Vicious, Salo up ahead. Battle for second brewing. Simon catching in Sasha Riegler, slowly but surely. Right on the back bumper here through turn number 2. And Simon goes to the inside on the motorway. He'll be easily around Riegler. Riegler having no answer. I don't think he will. Simon, of course, on a charge for points after dropping many in the last 3 rounds. Yes, Simon is clear, and he will start to run down Jarno Lahaikinen. Simon has not yet. Simon is kind of like Sebastian Vettel. He is definitely clear on his own. But when he has to get through a bit of traffic first, we're not quite sure how he does. But right now, he's doing a pretty good job of it. He's just faster through the first half of the lap here. He's got a 6.7 second gap to close to Jarno Lahaikinen. Jarno sets a 1:24.96. And Simon will come across for 1:24.83, so Simon is definitely with the faster pace. But as we have seen, Jarno so far in this season has liked to extend his runs, has gone longer on a heavier fuel load, and hopes that keeps him clear of traffic and can still net him a good finish. To lap former teammate at Sonic Realms, Chris Ford. A little bit of a battle here between Javansu and Philip Ellis. This battle will be for the 5th position. Of course, also going to keep an eye on timing and scoring to watch for when Simon closes in. But for now, Ellis gets a run around the outside of Javansu into turn number 1. Stankovic causing a yellow flag. We'll see what that is real quick. Nothing much. He is still going. And Philip Ellis gets around Javansu. It looks like he will start to pull away. So, 3 NX Racing cars in the top 5. Simon already whittling down that gap to 6.1 seconds. After coming to complete the 10th lap is Lahaikinen. You see him coming across the pit entry straight. And so that underpass section onto the main straight. 10 laps of the 60 have been completed. 1/6 of the race gone. And Lahaikinen has a lead over Simon that is dwindling. It's down, well, it's gone back up a bit, 6.5 seconds right now. Simon a little slower on that lap, obviously with traffic at a not so good place. Chris Ford makes a pit stop and retires from the race. So Chris is our first retirement of the race. Side by side, excuse me, between Mirlito and Dario, and Dario's off! goes off on turn 1, and that sounds like an exasperated Chris Ford joining the admin booth. So he apparently has been wrecked. He's apparently gone into the race control room to have a chat. So Dario having a battle with Milito, but unable to hold it. So Cattell slowly trying to wind in Lahaikinen. He's on the chase. He's got some clear track for now. The next car ahead of him on track is Lahaikinen. Further down the pecking order, here we go. Yeah, further down the pecking order, Simon Cattell set the fastest lap. Well, there's Stankovic a little behind, but we're going to watch Kistner and Keogh, core teammates, engage in a bit of battle. Keogh gets a bit of a draft down the main straight. He will go side by side. Ooh, Kistner hanging a little towards the left, roughing up Ben's life a bit. But Ben will be ahead. Kistner getting a bit of a draft, but on the run to turn 1. Too much of a draft is a bad thing. Kistner with the slipstream again though, on the way into turn number 3, and he will retake that place. So some spirited and clean action between teammates here. Ben with a dive! Ben with a dive. So Ben having a bit of a dive through the chicane. Intentional? I don't think so. But that'll hold him up. It looks like Kistner will get a run through. If anything, Stankovic will get a run on, and Boothie in a bit of distress on the run to the final turn. Picks up and keeps going though. We'll watch up front here real quick. Lahaikinen and a bit of traffic. Briefly with Clytus Kasiunas. Now we'll take this opportunity to remind you of the blue flag rules in New Dimension Racing. You are permitted to race your normal race As long as you yield to a properly presented overtaking maneuver, or yield safely if you decide that it is a safe part of track. Of course, we'll never penalize anyone for yielding to someone, and if they take themselves out, well, that's fine. As long as they don't unduly hinder the car that is attempting the lapping maneuver. Here, I'll quote the sporting code exactly. Blue flag used to warn a driver that a faster car is approaching from behind. This flag is not restricted to cars a lap or more down and may be used to signal to a higher classified car that a faster car is coming. When receiving a blue flag, do not make sudden maneuvers and keep to a predictable line. Do not defend a properly presented overtaking maneuver. So it's a fairly liberal interpretation of the blue flag. If you're holding someone up under blue flag and you had time to move over, we will generally suggest that that's what you should have done. Here, we'll watch with Simon Cattell, see how he'll handle Gisunas, who he'll be catching up shortly. Gap's down to 5.7. This may hold station for a little bit of a while, providing neither driver makes a mistake. If Jarno makes a mistake, Simon will be right there. If Simon makes a mistake, he will fall back a bit more, and Sasha will be right there to take up on Simon. Little further back, bottom half of the top 10. Dominic Engel, that we're watching now, chasing Phil Ellis just ahead, who is also chasing, Samsa Yorvatsu. They all accordion out a bit under braking for turn 1, but it returns to standard exiting. We'll watch Philip Ellis in the middle of the battle. Here's a bit of traffic for Cattell to negotiate Lim's Chevy, and Lim's Chevy bails out of the way easily. A very good opportunity of the wide run up there at the final turn. And you can see another car ahead, just barely, at points. That would be Clydas Gisunas. Oh, what's this we missed? Terzic getting around Riegler there. So Riegler making a mistake, obviously. That'll put 2 out of 3 of the podium in X's hands. Now back up to Phil Ellis. There in the white and goldish car, chasing the blue and white car ahead, and the all-purple car just behind, or being chased by the purple car anyway, into the chicane area. Keep an eye on this here, and I'll keep also an eye on the Simon situation with Gisunas. Simon not, of course, close enough yet. And Yanni Tormlet times out. Unfortunate for him. He has had a good season so far, and Gisunas lets Simon by without delay. And this battle kind of spreads a bit that we've been watching. In this series does have a compulsory pit stop required. Must be made between 5% and 95% of the race. This race, that would be between laps 3 and 57. Keo moves around Staskevicius in the draft on the main straightaway. So these three have been keeping this battle going, even though we haven't been watching it. So up the on-ramp to the motorway, and then down the off-ramp. About the only elevation change. It's a significant, quick elevation change here. And then downhill into the hairpin. Then you'll climb uphill through a right-hand bend, and Jarno Lahaikinen resets fast lap at 1:24.46. Then Simon, immediately on that lap, takes it straight back, 1:24.33. Fastest lap doesn't get you anything except a little bit. Oh, good job, you were fast on a single lap in the race. You get bonus points for most laps led and pole position. The more points that Jarno can keep away from Simon, the better for those others in the championship at the top. Robin Heiderman, Jarl Tyen, Sebastian Hutchinson, they are the top three in the championship. They are all missing this round, so they will definitely lose points to everyone behind. The less they can keep away from the other fast people in the season through use of proxies, in other words, the better for them. Bellis was right on the back bumper through the chicane on Irvansu, but Irvansu balking him or whatnot. So Ellis now being haggled by Damiangle. But again, this car, we can't mention it enough, or I can't mention it enough. This car is a beast. It's a handful. It's got 600 plus horsepower. It's got no traction control, none of that. It's just the driver and his right foot between the loud pedal, the engine, and the tires. So it's up to the driver to keep it going. And on a track like this, it's a little hard with how bumpy it is, being a city track, an urban track. Two cars out of the race so far. Chris Ford retiring, and Yanni Tormolet losing the connection. Simon having to get around Miko now. You see Miko up ahead in that white and black car. Miko not leaving that much room, but he'll do. And that will do. So Simon gets around without too much bother around another lapped car. Looks like lap traffic not being too much of a big deal here early in the race. But of course it would be like that. Everyone's still fairly well with the focus. Of course, while watching that, we missed this. Damiangle gets around Philip Ellis. So either Phil made a mistake or Dami made a splendid overtake. So after 21 laps, your race order, Jarno Lahaikinen continues to lead over Simon Cattell, Alan Turzik third, 4th position Sasha Riegler, 5th, Samsa Jorvensu, 6th, Dominic Engel, 7th, Philip Ellis, 8th, Isaac Price, 9th, Phil Diaz, 10th is Corey Green, 11th is Timo Ivanen, Ramos Dario in 12th, Rasmus Salo in 13th, 14th is Marcin Kavicius, Christian Kistner in 15th, 16th is Ben Keogh, Stan Kavicius is 17th, 18th is Alanta Kakis, Dave Southward in 19th, Rollins Kampars in 8th, Jan Laverboot in 21st, 22nd, David Junt, Stephen Martin 23rd, 24th, Michael Booth, Krampus 25th, 26th is Miko Mirliuvito, Clydes Gisionis in 27th and 28th, Lims Chevy, Yanni Tormala and Chris Ford are 2 retirements. Timo Ivanen making a pit stop and gets a drive-through for speeding on the way in, so he will have to serve that after he comes around after this pit stop. Keogh and Kistner engaged in some battle there, a little bit of bumpage through the hairpin. Drivers may be fairly common on this pit lane. We'll have to try and catch someone when they come into it, just to illustrate to you. But it's a long pit entry where you're not on a speed limit zone. But of course you want to be as fast as you can coming in. And we'll watch with Timo and see if he comes in this time to serve it. Yep, he does. So yeah, we'll watch on board with him. So you see, yeah, surrounded by walls, left hand, and you'll usually tap the armco. You have a bend, and you have a line right there to slow down. It kind of comes up on you real quick when you're trying to push your way into pit lane. Timo's serving that drive-through very quickly. You see, and then a short exit, and then very, very tight to the wall exit. And we added a second line to demarcate our official, what we consider the blend line, in yellow chalk, which is a little more visible. Well, there's Alan Turzik, fastest lap, 1:24.16, faster than the top 2. Is he short-filled, or is he just going very fast? Simon has that gap to just under 5 seconds, excuse me, to the lead driver. Keogh into pits. Simon with his teammate Timo even just ahead. We'll see if Timo does pull out of the way very easily. Stankovic having a spin on the pit entry region. Campars will get around him. That was for position there. Easy enough though with the slow car of Stankovic that he had recovering from that incident. Back to Philip Ellis and Dami Engel. I'll have Gasunas to negotiate here in a little bit. So if Lahaikinen can lead the next 5 laps, he will take the bonus for most laps led, and therefore keep that also away from Simon. Oh, and there, sorry for not paying a bit of attention to that. Engel and Ellis getting a battle. You saw it on the stream. I was looking at something else. And Ellis gets back around Engel. Battle between a couple of German nationality. Philip Ellis living in Sweden right now, though. Or no, excuse me, in Switzerland. This battle is still very close, especially considering that Philip Ellis has to get around Gasunas first, and they'll both get around fairly easily. Dami taking advantage of Ellis having him moving out of the way already. Alan Terzic takes fastest lap again, 1:24.08. It's nearly a second faster than Simon on that last lap. Stephen Martin coming to grief at the hairpin. He'll carry on though. No need for a safety car quite yet in this race. And we'll hope to keep that way. In his bits. Campos throwing up a couple yellow flags in the second sector. Nothing significant though. He will carry on. Philip Ellis, excuse me, chasing Miko Merluito. Trying to get around him. You can also see 5th place Ransu up ahead. Merluito getting a bit twitchy out of the chicane. And Ellis, therefore, being able to sneak right on through. Ellis going to try and catch down Ransu again. No luck quite yet. And Dami, as you see behind, catching Merluito at a bit of a bad place. But Merluito will let Dami right through. Green pulls it into the pit lane. Bit of a three-way here between Retikangas southward and Stankovic. 15th, 16th, 17th. It's one of the closest physical action on track. David Junt into the pit lane for Tiger Express. So here's Jarno Lahainen, who has led from the drop of the green. Start of the race, we are past the halfway mark now, and as long as Jarno completes this lap in the position he is now, he will lock out the 2 bonus points to anyone else. He will have clinched the most laps led. If a driver can get tied on most laps led, it gets awarded to both, or however many led that amount of laps. So if 2 drivers lead half of the race each, they both would get the 2 bonus points. But right now, as long as Lahainen can lead across the line this time, and McGrath gets out of the way really quickly, fairly quickly even. So it's like Lahainen will log out those 2 bonus points, so those are 3 points that Simon will be unable to collect this round. Oh, and Ratikanga's holding a yellow flag. He was in that battle we had been looking at. Well, that's because he's in pit lane. Yeah, sometimes the way the LFS system lays things out, it will throw up a yellow flag for someone that is in the pit lane, even if you are on the racetrack. Simon Cattell takes fast lap. Now this will be interesting. Lahainen has 2 TM cars up ahead. Neither are on the same lap with each other. But could he be catching Chevy in a wrong place? No, he doesn't. Our race director with a reminder of the pit window, which is a little past halfway gone. All the drivers, I'm sure, mindful of where that is, and of course have taken that into the strategy they desire for this race. After the last round, I'm sure a lot of drivers will be quite keen to fuel a long way and go a long way into the race before making their compulsory pit stop in the event the late race safety car. Jonnathan into the pits. So is Phil Ellis. So here is Jonnathan, and we'll see Ellis behind him. So this will be a straight fight between these two. Who can get in and out of their pit stop better? They both hit at the same time. We see Ellis just behind. Who will be shorter, who will be longer? And they both leave at the same time, stop at the same time, leave at the same time. Now it's up to Dami to set a couple fast laps to try and leapfrog at least Phil Ellis while Dami is still on the track. You hope as the pitting driver that you come out into a clear gap in traffic, and you hope as a competitor right around that driver that they don't come out into a gap in clear traffic. It looks like both of these drivers have timed it just right. Top three carry on at least another lap. Gap still about 5 seconds between the top two. We'll need to keep our eye on this man, Dominic Engel. See where he'll come out from his pit stop in relation to Jonnathan and Ellis. Of course, this track you can gain a lot of time, you can lose a lot of time on the entry here on this track. The entry especially. The exit's not as long as the entry. It's actually very short compared to the entry. So you can use, you can definitely gain a lot of time on the entry. You can also lose a lot of time on the entry. Patel into the pits, makes his compulsory stop just past halfway. We'll see how he gets on. Has to go around, yeah, and just a little bit extra. Who's sitting around a little wide on the box. And Simon comes out right between teammates Isaac Price, Phil Diaz. Not really close to either of them to have any significant effect. knowing Lahaikanen from the last races, he will wait till about 90% of the race is gone to pit. Looking at his tires, he's got plenty of tread left. He's probably got plenty of fuel left. Terzic now in the pits from second. Riegler carries on, so Riegler will temporarily be up to the second position. So there's Terzic sitting heel roll. There goes Simon. Here comes Simon right there. So Simon will stay ahead of Alan. And I don't think Alan will have gained much at all through that stop. Southward with the spin in the final couple of corners. He will pick it up and get back on the road. Kistner and Pecor racing. Back to take a look at Ellis and Jonnathan. Neither of them close enough to have any sort of issue or action yet. I know a lot of drivers in the build-up to this race were talking about taking a long first stint in the event there was a late race in the safety car. You know, these long races, hour and a half races, you can lose your focus after a while and make silly mistakes, and those could take in. If you do push too long, maybe you short-filled. You'll filter your fuel strategy. It's entirely possible that you lose. That you lose out. That you could. It's entirely possible that you may run out of fuel. You may have a puncture. You may have myriad issues. Angle and a little bit of heavy lapped traffic. So then he'll have Evenin ahead, and just ahead of Evenin will be Keogh. Evenin and Keogh in their own battle, so Dami will have to be mindful of that. But of course those two will also have to be mindful of Dami engages in his thing. This may see Dami adapt his strategy real quick. Dami may try to pit in this lap to not have to get hung up by this long, as if it doesn't look like they'll be moving or willing to move or give a little gap, then it may be wise to Dami to pit this time to go for a clear gap. I think he'll get into a fairly clear one. Lahaikanen in! Dami stays out. So Lahaikanen comes through, and he will comfortably keep the lead, the virtual lead, over Cattell. Most definitely there he is, turn 1, and here is Cattell, or turn 2, excuse me. There he goes to there, and there you see Cattell. So the gap stays about the same between the top 3 after those pit stops. Angle again is even and drops back off of Keo a bit. Now this will be helping Jonnathan and Ellis. This could hold up Dami, and any momentum that Angle has gained could be nullified by this, and therefore maybe canceling any gap that he may have gained over Ellis on these laps that Dami's had on track. If Dami feels it's a hopeless situation to try and get around him on track, he may try to just use a pit stop to do it. Both drivers have made their compulsory pit stops already. And Dami takes the final turn sharply, and he does come into the pits. Not sure that that's going to be the strategy he wanted. But that's the strategy he'll get. Dami hits his marks. And we'll watch for where Jonnathan and Ellis come through. Dami is rolling. Already a short fill, obviously needed here late in the race. There's Jonnathan and Ellis and Dami has successfully, massively leaped 2 places through the pit stop. Diaz and Turzic scrapping a bit on track. Diaz, of course, has not made his pit stop yet. Also not making their compulsory pit stop yet. Southward, Booth, Marcin Kavicius, Price, and Riegler. Dami drops out in a bit of clear path. Booth in the pits. Isaac Price in the lane. Sasha Riegler carries on. And also we see Phil Diaz into the pits. So, pit stop coming here late in the window. About 15 laps left in pit stop window. Last car out of the top to make a pit stop will be Sasha Riegler here. And he has a right gaggle of cars up ahead who are all battling for position. That'd be the trio of Keo, Kistner, and Evenin. Keo clips the wall! Keo clips the wall in the chicane. He'll lose a place. He will lose a lap to Lahaikinen. Again, that's some of the dangers of the lack of focus, losing focus, and just the long run. Boothie causing yellow flag as he exits Rizzi's on his outlap. These two, Lahaikinen, Evenin and Kistner, just ahead of Lahaikinen, side by side through turn 1. Kistner kissing the wall after having a bit of a brush with Evenin. Yeah, again, as I said on a brief lap of the track, it's not exactly somewhere where you want to go side by side. And here's Kistner being overtaken by Evenin, or excuse me, Lahaikinen, and he'll let him through without too much grief. Now it's Lahaikinen and Evenin. Lahaikinen not yet close for an overtaking maneuver. Krampus getting out of the way of both of these. Lightning sets the car up the inside and gets around. There's a bit of a twitch on exit, but keeps it together. Even in the draft of Lightning. Now don't try anything silly. Nope, even just taking the draft and a bit of an understeer with it, and then lose it, and that'll bring Kistner back to it. Oh, and Keogh's also joined this a little bit. Likinen had a 7-second gap that last lap over Cattell. Southward in pits. That'll leave Riegler to the last part of pit. Back to Ellis and Jonnathan. They're still fairly close in this scrap. For anyone who may not be familiar with the LFSCART point system, it's 50 points for a win, 40 for second, and 35 for third. So Simon definitely still on a good position to score some points if you can carry it home to second place. And of course, just to reiterate, I think it's attributable to the competition this season, the variability this season. It's nothing bad. It's actually good. 5 races so far, and no repeat winner. Simon won round 1, Jonnathan won round 2, Sebastian Hutchinson round 3, if I remember correctly. Round 4 was Robin Heiderman, and the last round was Samsa Jonnathan. And I missed it while I was having a chat with race director Theo Falkenberg. Riegler made his pit stop, and he comes out third, just ahead of Alan Terzic. So look at where that long run has reached him. He ran the first 45 laps of the race, running a 3/4 of the race, and look at where it's got him. It'll get him on the podium if things stay as they are. That puts Heikkinen back into the lead by about 7 1/4 seconds over Simon Cattell. Well, and here we go, side by side scrap between Riegler and Terzic, and a bit of contact between Ellis, or something happened with Ellis, and there was a yellow flag thrown up by Jonnathan. So Jonnathan and Ellis having a bit of a coming together. But up front, a higher up battle between these two cars of Terzic and Riegler. We're about to have a three-way scrap for 7th position as Gervonta and Ellis working to catch Diaz. Terzic trying to catch Riegler again. Right on the back bumper, and Terzic, as you see, gets slide through the hairpin. The sprint 2 back straight away. Keogh causing a yellow flag. Ellis and Jonnathan side by side across split number 1. And Ellis looks like he'll take that position. Oh, now there's contact between Jonnathan and Ellis, and they both have a bit of a slide and slow at the chicane, keeping them locked together. You saw it right there on your screens. So that may lead to some unhappiness between those two after the race. See what will happen here into the final turn. Oh, nothing. Ellis pulling a little bit of a gap out of that. Simon whittling that gap down to just under 7 seconds now. With 12 to go, do we think... no, I don't think he'll be able to catch him. Well, I know he may be able to catch him. It's not... it depends on traffic. There's not much traffic ahead of these guys right now. Congas is flipped at the chicane. He's flipped at the hairpin. Oh, no, excuse me, that's Junt. Junt is upside down at the chicane. So that is our standard late race safety car this season. So David Junt upside down. So here is Lahaikanen, and there's Cattell. And there are going to be no cars between Cattell and Lahaikanen, who will be able to keep their tires in the best condition. Riegler is in this scrap also. They'll have a few lap cars between them, but this will close everyone up late in this race. Now we saw from the initial start that Lahaikanen got a good jump on the restart. So you see the field will catch up in a lap or two. Action will definitely pick up here. It'll be up to all these drivers to keep their tires as warm as possible during this safeguard period. Be prepared for the best restart that they can get. So again, another look at the forlorn Tiger Express car of David Junt sitting at the hairpin. There we see him there. But he will be cleared off of the track here. And so yeah. So that is only our second retirement of this race. So safety car will be in this lap, and this race has gone and will go mega. Simon doing fairly good to stay with Jarno on the restart. And the green flag is back out with 8 laps remaining. Here is the battle for the lead. They both got a good jump on third place. And that was just a bit of lag. It looks like he was spitting there to me. But there was a bit of lag there. Cattell will have the advantage of the draft. Phil Diaz causing a yellow flag early on in the restart. Oh no, please tell me they're not going to go 3 wide into the second or third and fourth turn. No, they don't. Okay, that was just a bit of action behind, bit of scrap between Terzic, and now we have a bit of a kerfuffle at the hairpin. That's carnage at the hairpin, definitely. And that several cars spun sideways on the way up the hill out of the hairpin. How did that happen? Looks like, and Dave Southward joins the spectators. That was from on track. That will, of course, merit a penalty. So Cattell dropping back from Lahaikanen a bit. So Lahaikanen pulls a gap, as you see there, on that restart. Bit of a kerfuffle sort of thing here in the back. Isaac trying to charge through the field. Apparently having a bit of argy-bargy we're hearing from some retired drivers. Engel taking a bit of a lunge, but ends up not paying off as Isaac starts to pull away. Now Jonnathan and Engel. Jonnathan gets a run down the main straightaway. Cross us here in the tower. Jonnathan will take 6th place ahead of Dami. Back to the battle for the lead, which is so that would be Simon losing ground to Jarno here. At turn 1, Mirlivito and Booth having a bit of a tangle. No, here's Booth, even and Ratikanga's going 3 wide down the overpass. 3 cars going to try and shove in this area. This could end well. Oh, it does end well. It could end badly, and Ratikanga spins. Ratikanga spins, but contact between Evening and Booth. Tengas spins, but luckily enough gap where he can get back going the correct direction rapidly. Stop-go penalty to Isaac Price. So, stop-go penalty to Isaac Price for an avoidable incident. I believe that was with Dominic Engel, and I'm sure that Isaac will be none too happy about that decision. Real quickly, he's got enough time to serve it. The administration issuing it just in time. Here is Price. Pit window is now closed. Stankovic is backwards on the way to the hairpin. He's well off, so that won't cause much issue. Of course, remember in Live for Speed, a stop-go penalty assigned in the system is worth you pulling into your pit box, waiting for 10 seconds, and then going. As he makes one pass, the pit lane, he's got 2 more to go, or it will be an upgraded penalty. Not serving his penalty quite yet, and that's going to serve to close everyone behind up a little bit if he's trying to do that. That lets Ellis through. Ellis, you see, just behind gets through Engel, but Engel does come back at him. And ooh, there's a bit of contact there. Price into the pits for his stop and go. But here goes side by side between Engel and Ellis. Engel lifts off, will hold behind Phil Ellis there. No action in turn 1. Isaac completes his stopping penalty. Closing up a bit under the braking for the hairpin region. Ellis getting him to twitch on under braking. Dami stays with him up the hill. But now loses it, loses downforce, washes out, has to slow immensely. But will now, he'll stay fairly close. He's within reach. Intense battling here late in this race. Final lap for Lahaikinen. We'll see, he'll be returned to on his 60th and final tour. He's got about a second between him and Simon. Well, looked away. Corey Green gets around dummy angle. Oh, Corey Green hit the wall, and dummies into it. Corey Green is spun. Corey Green clips that Armco that's jutting out, spins, gives Dummy a bit of damage, and that looks like it will secure 6th place for Phil Ellis. We have a car slow. That's Salo. Salo, has he run out of fuel? Yeah, Rasmus Salo has run out of fuel and parked it on the hill up to the motorway. It looks like he won't have enough hill roll down the hill. But here we go, Jarno Lahaikinen comes off the final corner, and Jarno Lahaikinen takes the win in LFSCART Grand Prix of South City. Simon Cattell in 2nd, Alan Terzic 3rd, Sasha Riegler 4th, and Jarno Lahaikinen becomes the 6th different winner in as many races in the LFSCART season, and takes maximum points, and he'll draw alongside, or Simon Cattell draws along side by side. Salo DNF'd, yeah, out of fuel, if that is the reason. Isaac Price coming up the hill and across the line now. Ramos Dorio, newcomer to the series. The Argentinian comes across the line. He will finish in 11th. That would be it. There's his Simon. What a race indeed. And as we see, Simon and Jarno touring around, and the top 3 will work their way to the start-finish line for the podium picture. So the results now provisional, of course. Jarno Lahaikinen wins by a 2.25 seconds over Simon Cattell. Alan Terzic 3rd, Sasha Riegler 4th, Samson Järventuu 5th, 6th Philip Ellis, 7th Dominic Engel, 8th Corey Green, 9th Phil Diaz, 10th Isaac Price, 11th Ramos Dario, 12th in the first car lap down Ben Keogh, 13th Christian Kistner, 14th Claudius Kisunis, Marcin Kavicius 15th, Campar 16th, 17th Laparot, 18th Martin, 19th Evenin, Boothly, Michael Booth in 20th, Miko Merlivito 21st, Ratikangis 22nd, 23rd Krampus, first car 2 laps down, also 2 laps down, Stankovic and Lims Chebby 25th. All retirements: Dave Southward, David Junt, Rasmus Salo, of course, running out of fuel on the bell lap, Jani Tormela, and Chris Ford also retiring from the race. So you see the top 3 at the corner. See if we can get any of the top 3 for an interview. Of course, it's not exactly compulsory for them, but we'll see if we can get to any of them. Alan. So, working on getting Jarno here into the TeamSpeak server for an interview here. Get a top 3 press conference going on here momentarily. Hey, good race. A little bit sloppy in some cases. Taking a quick look at the calendar. Next race will be August 6th. The Jamaican Grand Prix Fern Bay Gold reversed. 69 laps of that twisty, windy track. Well, while we wait for Jarno to get into the server, here, we'll get Jarno here in just a second. Yeah, we'll have Jarno here momentarily. Once again, you kind of see the top 3 on the edge of your screen there. Jarno there in the middle, Simon on your left, and Alan Terzic on the right. So again, still waiting on Jarno to come in. He'll be in a minute, so while we wait for Jarno, let's start with Simon. Simon Cattell finishing 2nd for NX Racing, and Simon, I'm sure a better result than you could have had, but not the result you might have hoped for.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm in this for the championship fight just like everybody else, and well, I could only go one better. The 10 points extra that you get for winning would be really useful, but Jarno deserved it. You know, he had a tremendous race, and I was pushing so hard just to try and maintain the gap. I think he was running about 4 or 5 laps longer, and yeah, he just had everything under control, but I was trying to not make it a little bit easy for him. I mean, the race kind of came to me towards the end with the safety car, but his pace was still too good to really be challenged, so I've got to take my hats off to him, because that was a really good job, a really good race.
Yep, and we'll pause with you, Simon. Jarno has just joined us. Jarno, congratulations on your maiden LFSCART victory. It took you a few rounds, you always up there, but it was a good win for you, yes? Of course, perhaps I maybe should have checked his mic before I started, but Jarno, if you are here and you got us and you're set up, go ahead and have at it.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We got you a little bit, you're quiet, but if you can speak up, I'm sure we can adjust some things otherwise. So Jarno Lahainen, the winner for My3ID Gaming. My3ID's first win in LFSCART, and Jarno's first win, and of course you're the 6th different winner in as many races. Tell us about your race.
Well, start was very hard, and not actually. It was very easy because no one followed me, and then just hit the steady pace. And after the safety car came, I was shocked because I knew that Simon was faster than me. But all in all, very nice race.
You've been up towards the front in a lot of the races we've had so far this season, but it took you a while to win. You've been caught up by just the outright pace of everyone else, or just delayed strategy not working as well. You seem to like that run late into the race. Does that favor your style? Do you like to run late into the race, or do you like to kind of have the freshest stuff for the end, and do you like to run calm at the early stage?
When you pit late, you always have the track position because you knew that no one else is pitting after you. But this race I did some tests with small fuel and it got better, so I didn't go the long way this time. But it's nice because then in the end you can have the better tires and it's always faster.
Alrighty, I'll hang around. We'll get something else from you a little later. But back to you, Simon. You were pretty good alone all your race. You did good to keep your position through the pit stop. Did you think at any point you had a chance to catch Jarno through a pit stop?
Not really, to be honest. He had a really good pace, pretty good lead at that point, and I wasn't really too confident on closing the gap, but I had some decent pace. We were running pretty similar times for the whole race, but because he was running 4 or 5 laps longer on the fuel, he could build an even bigger gap. But I didn't give up. I kept pushing, right towards the end, and in the end with the safety car I could close that gap a little bit, but even without that I would have been 7-8 seconds down the road, and even with it Jarno still won the race, so it was a really good job, and I'll look ahead to the next one.
Now looking forward for you definitely to the remaining races on the calendar. Fern Bay, your favorite oval in reverse, and then Kyoto Long with the Boothie chicane. You've closed down the gap by 44 points technically, because Heigerman lost 4 points for missing the round and losing that part of the bonus. So you've gained a bit. So you've about 64 points left. Definitely not an insurmountable goal. Not an insurmountable task. What is your goal for these last 3 races, including the critical penultimate round at the Oval?
I mean, the gap's pretty big to Robin, but I'm not going to give up on the championship too easily. I mean, I've had some pretty bad luck throughout the season, but everyone has tough races, so it's the same for everybody. The next few circuits are pretty good. I'm not too keen on Kyoto Oval, but everyone's got their less favourable circuits, so I'll just try my best to prepare and get a good result out of that. I think I'm 60 points behind or something like that, so that's just over 1 race victory. So seeing as Robin's missing in the next race, it's not completely unforeseeable that the gap could close a little bit. I'll keep fighting to the end. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully it should be a good end to the season.
Alright, now if you'll hang around too, Simon, we'll get back to you again in a little bit. Alan Terzic taking 3rd place, one of his highest finishes in LFSCART. Alan, you were kind of the quiet one all race. You just ran your race and took what you needed, and you had to get around Sasha late in the race. Well, how was your race?
Well, first I wanna say sorry to Mr. Gasiunas for killing him. So other than that, it was pretty quiet. Had some damage all in left front. That's it. Pretty boring. I like the track though.
Now, we haven't seen much of you this season. You've been kind of mid-pack, but is South City your kind of track, or do you think you just had a lucky sort of race here?
No, it's my kind of track. I love it.
What are you looking forward to for the last 3 rounds of the season?
Which tracks are there? Not the oval one.
Fern Bay Gold Reversed, and Kyoto.
I'm looking forward to the
Kyoto
3. Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, we'll go through everyone here individually. Do one of my favorite things. We'll start with Jarno, but we'll go through each person and get a few brief comments from each of you on your race in your native language, which of course will be English for Simon. So, we'll start with you,
about
Jonas.
that?
Some comments on your race in your native language.
Eikä siinä. Helvetin hyvä. Ei siinä aika kova vauhti oli päällä heti alusta ja helvetin hyvä meininki. Ja sitten kun Simonas tuli lähelle, niin ei siinä auttanut kuin vähän vielä kovempaa mennä, mutta sillä lailla.
Alrighty, thank you. Simon?
It wasn't a perfect race. It could have gone a damn sight worse, though. I had a little bit of right front suspension damage, but I've got to congratulate Jano on the win. It was a really good race and a tough fight, right to the end, and it shows for the next few races they should be pretty good. Championship's still pretty open. Hopefully close in on Heigeman, Tyan and Hutchinson and keep that fight open, but just for now, just enjoy the second place and look ahead to next races.
Alrighty. And Alan?
Dobro, šta da kažem, baš sam uživao kad sam ubio Junasa. Dobro da oni to ne razume, ali dobra utrka, ne znam što da kažem, moglo bi bolje.
Alrighty, thank you again. Top three, of course, once more, Jarno Lahaikinen, Simon Cattell, and Alan Terzic. That'll wrap up our coverage here from South City Long Reversed here on this 23rd of July, 2011. Of course, 2 weeks' time, August 6th, we have Fern Bay Gold Reversed for 69 laps, each challenge indeed. It's still a thin track, technically, but a little more space before you slam into the Armco. So for everyone who has taken part in today's race, all 30 of them, 25 finishing, and in about an hour 26 minutes overall. I'd like to thank you all for joining us. So for Theo Falkenberg, race director, Stu Baker, our safety car. For everyone else, Jonathan Palmer saying so long, everyone.